You better not shout, you better not cry. Konami doesn't care if you've been naughty or nice. Yu-Gi-Oh! Banlist season is here. What's going on, guys? It's Cimoooooooo, and it's everyone's favorite time of year. It's time for the ban list. I just found out that the list got released, and if you guys are new to the channel, you guys might not know that I do live ban list reactions. This will be my first time viewing the list, so if this is your first time viewing the list, we're gonna go through it together, and it's gonna be one hell of an experience, because I really want to make sure you guys get my live reactions, especially when a format's been stale for so long. It's gonna hype up the game, hopefully. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. I haven't gone to the list yet. I do know it's up, and I did this because last time I think there was something on the first page, so I figured this time I'd be a little bit more preemptive and see if we can, if there is anything on the front, we're gonna prepare. So, without further ado, what do we got? Okay. Dynamite Knight, the True Draco Fighter banned. Grand Soil, the Elemental Lord banned. Oh my god, there's just bans everywhere. Oh my god. True King Lithosajim, the Disaster banned. Danglong, First of the Yang Zing, Daigusto Emerald, Zodiac Broadbull, Zodiac Dread. What the fuck is going on? They just banned 7 cards right off the bat. Oh my god. Okay. So before we go any further, let's take this one by one. So, Trident and Broadbull we saw was coming. Like, that I'm not surprised about in the least, because pretty much everyone and their fucking mom predicted that Broadbull and Trident were gonna get banned. So that I'm not worried about. What interests me more is the other 5 things that are on here. So, Grand Soil makes sense because Grand Soil essentially enables all the stupid degenerate loops with Firewall Dragon. So that actually to me makes sense that they would hit that to pretty much stop those loops from happening, because that stuff like with like the Dino FTK, the Infernity FTK, there's so much bullshit with Grand Soil. Oh, not the Infernity FTK, the Dino FTK though specifically. So that actually makes sense as a hit just to prevent any degenerate loops like that. But then you get into Dynamite getting banned, which probably is going to speak volumes about the rest of the list, because we haven't even gotten to the spells yet, and I'm already like, holy fuck. But then take Dynamite. Dynamite honestly is absurd, but I don't know if it's like ban worthy, maybe limit worthy, but banning it seems a little bit overzealous. But then you have True King Lithosajim and Danglong, First of the Yang Zing. That's crazy because those are 2 extremely big hits to dinosaurs, which means, again, that's going to speak volumes probably about the rest of this list. And then Daigusto Emerald. I feel like Daigusto Emerald was a bad hit because I really like what Emerald, like a card like Emerald is. Now, obviously, people abused it when it came to Zodiacs, but I think that's not really the Daigusto Emerald's fault. It's more Zodiac's fault for enabling the degeneracy with Daigusto Emerald. On its own, I think Daigusto Emerald is a fine card. If they were going to hit it, they should have just limited it, but I'm really surprised to see it banned. That's kind of... man, Konami's fucking dropping the hammer on this list. Oh my god. Alright, we're moving down. Again, that was just 7 things, right? Okay, whoa! Interesting. Okay, so no other spells or traps were banned. Okay, so that's interesting. So, Diagram could still be limited. Masterpiece could still be limited. Barrage could still be on here. Okay. I guess if you hit Trident and Broadbull, Barrage isn't really like too big of a deal, but still, that was a good way to start off this video. All right, moving into limited. Ignis Heat, the True Draco Warrior. See, okay, so the interesting thing about Ignis being to 1 and Dynamite being banned, I was expecting them maybe both possibly to go to 1, because that's kind of what they did in the OCG, but like, Dynamite being banned and Ignis being at 1 is kind of just like, okay, like, why not, I guess. Miscellaneous Saurus to 1. Oh my god. Konami is just fucking making dinosaurs extinct with this list. Got Miscellaneous Saurus to 1, you got Lithosajim to 0, you got Danglong to 0.
Oh my god, what is going on? Rapier got limited. Like, no one's already gonna play Zoo with Broad Bowl and Trident banned, so that was, like, worthless, in my opinion. Okay. Dark Hole is at 1. That's weird. Okay, so they moved that down. That's a bit of an odd one. Masterpiece is still at 3, everyone. At least for now. It could be semi-limited. But Masterpiece is still at 3. I find that highly interesting. Dark Hole's at 1. Okay. Gateway of the 6 Unlimited. That makes sense because of... it's following in suit with the OCG, so that's fine. Kaiju Slumber to 1. Okay, so that's following in the OCG footsteps as well. So now that means we have 1 Regeki, 1 Dark Hole, and 1 Kaiju Slumber, and 1 Torrential for the time being, unless they moved it off the list. But, okay. Diagram is not on here yet. Diagram is still possibly at 3. True King's Return is also on here as well. Well, the OCG hit that too, so... Man, okay, so Board Wipes got put in check. They have a useless hit to Ratpier. Miscellaneousaurus just further... They hit Miscellaneousaurus, but not Oviraptor, which I think is kind of interesting. And with Oviraptor still at 3, maybe the deck can still do something, but... I don't know, man. All these True King hits, but they don't hit Masterpiece. That's really weird. Okay, so moving on to semi-limits. BLS is at 2... Which I think BLS is at 3 in the OCG, and, like, no one plays it. So I really don't think that's that big of a deal. Because, like, okay, right now, would you play 2 BLS? Probably not, unless you're playing something that can really, like, make it work. Luster Pendulum to 2, and I can see Mathematician here as well, so I'm going to scroll down a little bit there. Luster Pendulum, Mathematician. Luster Pendulum's pretty irrelevant because pendulums just are... You know, not what they used to be. I like Mathematician to 2. I'm always a fan of generic cards going to, you know, just being unlimited so that people can experiment more with them. And Mathematician, I feel like, is a very good generic card. It was limited because of Shaddolls primarily, but I think it's good that that's coming off the list. Brio to 2. Again, no one was playing Brio at 1. Hyper Librarian to 2. Okay, that's interesting. Brain Control to 2. No one's playing Brain Control. Burial from a Different Dimension to 2 is interesting because it gives some, like, indirect support to some decks. What else? El Shaddai Fusion to 2 is nice, but Construct is still fucking banned, Konami. Preparation of Rites to 2. We still have Shuret banned, so that's largely irrelevant, but I mean, it's nice, again, that stuff's coming off the list. And that's it. Okay. So, let's scroll back up here. Let me think about this. So they hit a ton of cards that relate to True Draco, but Diagram's still at 3, and Masterpiece is still at 3, but they hit the cards that essentially enable all the pluses, and they also hit the recurring spell, the trap, or the recurring trap, which actually has a very significant impact on the deck's ability, because now you're just not constantly just generating +1s for free. So that's interesting. They really hit dinosaurs hard by hitting Lithosogym and hitting Denglong and hitting Miscellaneousaurus, but there's still 3 Baby Ceresaurus and there's still 3 Oviraptor, and Conductor Tyranno and Fossil Dig are also still at 3. So dinos, I think, actually aren't completely eradicated. Even though they lost, like, their big combo piece, I still think the dinosaurs, because, like, there's still... They hit Miscellaneousaurus to 1, though. Because I was going to say, you could still use the Fire True King to trigger the babies, but it's not as consistent, obviously, so I'm not sure about that. But Zodiac's pretty much done for. Dryden and Broad Bowl is pretty much all that needed to be hit. Barrage is more of like a countermeasure of anything, but I think with Barrage still being at 3, like, Broad Bowl and Dryden pretty much makes... just Zodiac just, like, virtually unplayable. Like, I guess you could play Chaka9 Control, but I don't really see the point in that if you lost your +1 engine in Broad Bowl and your ultimate oppressive monster in Drident, so that's a thing. Max C is still at 1. I also just realized that. So they didn't touch Max C at all. Yeah, so that's... Overall, I'm actually rather impressed because... they managed, like, Masterpiece and Diagram are still at 3 though, so that kind of frightens me because you could still technically play those cards in decks and capitalize on the fact of, you know, Diagram being able to abuse stuff like that. Ignis to 1 is just so weird, and then they banned Dynamite. I'm just surprised they didn't either limit both of them or just ban both of them. That just seems really weird. Then they also limited the board wipes as well, which I find fascinating because now that, like, Zoo is gone, that was kind of why everyone was playing so many board wipes. So now it's kind of like a check on that. So I'm curious to see how that's going to turn now that we have one of each board wipe, which is kind of cool to think that there's only one of each. Yeah. Alrighty. Oh, I forgot Unlimited. What am I doing? Good thing I realized. Unlimited. Debris Dragon, worthless. Honest to 3 is a little bit scary. Rescue Rabbit to 3 is actually pretty cool. Rescue Cat to 3. Summoner Monk to 3 is interesting. Witch of the Black Forest because it got the errata. Charge of the Light Brigade to 3. That's interesting for Light Sworn with Honest at 3 as well. Dragon Ravine at 3, interesting for Destrudo coming out in ABC, and Wavering Eyes to 3, which is largely irrelevant because Pendulum's there. So, okay, good thing I didn't forget the Unlimiteds. Yeah, overall, I'm really interested to see, like, once I think more about this list, what conclusions I'm going to come to. But for right now, I would say they put in check the main problems. Diagram and Masterpiece being unlimited still worry me a little bit, but it's interesting how dinos are basically dead, but I'm curious to see what's going to happen moving forward now. But I'm also really curious to see what you guys have to say in the comment section down below. Do you guys really like this list? Do you absolutely hate this list? Do you feel like this is the list, you know, we've been waiting for? Is it going to shake up the format? Let me know down in the comments below. I really want to hear your guys' opinion. So guys, thank you so much for watching the video. Be sure to like the video as always. Subscribe to the channel for more amazing Yu-Gi-Oh content. And if you really like this video, consider backing me on Patreon, because just by pledging only $1 a month, you're investing in my ability to continue bringing you amazing Yu-Gi-Oh content. So thanks so much again, and we'll see you next time.